In this video, we're going to go over carbocation stability. So what exactly is a carbocation? A carbocation is a carbon with a positive charge. Now, what you need to know is that tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary carbocations. And in turn, secondary carbocations are more stable than primary carbocations. And these are more stable than a methyl carbocation. So on the left, we have a tertiary carbocation. This carbon is attached to 3 other carbons. And here, this is a secondary carbocation, this is primary, and this is a methyl carbocation. Now, the reason why tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary ones is because you have 3 electron donating groups as opposed to just having 2. The methyl group is a very weak electron donating group, and so it can donate electron density to the carbocation by means of the inductive effects, that is, through the sigma bond. And so that's one way in which it could stabilize the electrophilic carbocation by means of the inductive effect. Now, there's another way in which you can do so too. A carbon atom with a positive charge has an empty p orbital. And let's draw an adjacent carbon atom that is bonded to a hydrogen. Now, these 2 orbitals can overlap, and when that happens, the carbocation can be stabilized by a process known as hyperconjugation, which is related to the overlap of these atomic orbitals. So the sigma bond of the CH bond, its orbital can overlap with the empty p orbital, thus helping to stabilize that carbocation. So that's another way in which a methyl group can stabilize a positive charge on a carbon. It's by the inductive effect and by hyperconjugation. Now, here's a question for you. Looking at these 2 structures, which one is more stable? So we're comparing a methyl group versus a hydroxyl group. So which group can better stabilize the positive charge? Well, let's find out. The methyl group can donate electron density to the carbocation by means of the inductive effects. Now, oxygen is an electronegative atom, and so oxygen can pull electrons toward itself by means of the inductive effect. And so that's not good. We don't want to take away electrons from a positive charge because that's going to make it more positively charged. However, the oxygen atom can do something else. It has 2 lone pairs. So what it can do is it can donate a pair of electrons by means of the resonance effect. And so we can draw a resonance structure that looks like this. Now, the oxygen atom bears the positive charge. Now, this structure is more stable, not because we have a positive charge on the oxygen atom, but it's more stable because the carbon atom is neutral, and also the carbon atom obeys the octet rule. Notice that carbon has 4 bonds, or 8 electrons around it. Here, carbon has 3 bonds and 6 electrons. So it doesn't satisfy the octet rule. But in this structure, both the oxygen and the carbon atom obeys the octet rule. And so that's why this is more stable than this form. And so the OH group can better stabilize a carbocation that's adjacent to it because it can donate electron density by means of the resonance effect, even though it can withdraw electron density by means of the inductive effect due to the fact that it's electronegative. Now, let me give you another question. So I'm going to give you 4 different structures, and I want you to determine which of these structures is the most stable. So here we have a carbocation, and here we have a carbocation allylic to a double bond, and here a carbocation allylic to two double bonds, and another one with a nitrogen in the ring. So which of these structures is the best? Well, this is going to be the worst because that carbocation is not stabilized by anything. This is going to be the best. This is going to be number 1. This is number 2, number 3, number 4. Now let's start with number 3. So for this structure, we can only draw one resonance structure. And so this structure is better than the first one, where we just had a secondary carbocation. So anytime you can draw a resonance structure, it's more stable compared to if you cannot draw one. So this is better than just having a plus charge on a carbon. It's better to put a positive charge. It's better to share a positive charge between two carbon atoms as opposed to one. So this is a more stable situation. Now for the third example, we can draw 3 resonance structures as opposed to 2. So starting with this one, I could take this double bond and move it here, giving me this new resonance structure, which looks like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this double bond, move it here, and then move this one here, giving me my third resonance structure, which will look like this. So now the positive charge is on this carbon. And so notice that the positive charge can jump 2 carbons as it moves around this structure. Now for the last example, the reason why this is the most stable situation is because we can put the positive charge on the nitrogen atom as opposed to a carbon atom. And so first I'm going to take this double bond, move it here. And so this will give me one of the many resonance structures that I can draw. So right now I have a positive charge on this carbon. And so now I can take a lone pair and form a double bond here. And this will give me basically the protonated form of a pyridine ring. So notice that the positive charge is now on the nitrogen atom. And this situation is stable for many reasons. One reason is that we don't have a carbon atom that is, or that has an incomplete octet. Every atom obeys the octet rule. So that's one reason why this is very stable. 2, the pyridine structure looks like benzene, and so what we have is an aromatic ring that makes it also very stable. And so this is going to be the most stable structure out of all the ones that we have. Consider these 2 structures. So here we have a tertiary carbocation, and on the right we have something similar, but instead of this methyl group, we're going to replace that with a carbonyl group. So which carbocation is more stable? Is it going to be the one on the left, or is it going to be the one on the right? What would you say? Now we know that a methyl group is a weak electron donating group, but the carbonyl group, it's an electron withdrawing group. Electron donating groups, they help to stabilize a positive charge, so this is good. Electron withdrawing groups, they destabilize a positive charge, but they can help stabilize a negative charge. So this is bad in this case. And you could tell that it's bad because if you draw the resonance structure for it, notice what's going to happen. So right now, this oxygen atom has 2 lone pairs. So if we break the pi bond and push those 2 electrons back to the more electronegative oxygen atom, which has a partial negative charge, we can see that the carbon of the carbonyl group, it's going to acquire a positive charge. So now that this oxygen has 3 lone pairs, it carries a negative charge. And now this carbon is electron deficient, and so it has a positive charge. Having 2 positive charges next to each other is not good. That is an unstable situation. And so that is why this is an electron withdrawn group, because it pulls away electron density away from something, whereas the methyl group pushes electron density to the carbocation, making it more stable. But if you pull away electron density from a carbon that really wants electrons, you make it less stable or unstable. And so this situation is better.